good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever part of the day this video chooses to reach you. I hope you're feeling fine. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you realize that you are blessed. I hope you realize that you are blessed because you got to see a day that nobody else got to see. Yeah, we down here in South Florida with these 104 feel like temperatures, and it gets real kind of, it gets real hot real quick out here. It's about 8 o'clock and it's already in the 80s. But guess what? Somebody didn't get to see that and you did. So guess what? You're blessed. I wanted to come to you today and talk about a hot button issue that will be on all of you guys' For You pages, on your news feeds, on your news cycles. If you looked at the news this morning, you probably seen them talk about it a little bit. And that was Donald Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference yesterday. Now, before I delve into, what he did and what he said at the conference, I want to let you hear what National Association of Black Journalists of the Year, April Ryan, had to say about her time being the White House press correspondent during the Trump presidency.
What are some adversities you faced as the White House correspondent?
Some adversities?
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah, being told
You
to
know,
sit down.
sit down. Trump told me, sit down. Sean Spicer said, stop shaking your head.
Yeah, he wouldn't take your question because you were shaking your head. He said,
Yeah, that was crazy. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's running for governor of Arkansas, told me my question was stupid and, been targeted by Fox News. Death threats just for asking questions of the Black community, a community that they didn't want to deal with.
You get a chance to look at the clips. Take a look and see if you still can identify some of those same behaviors that April Ryan stated, being exhibited at the NABJ conference. I think I like to say that a lot of what April said, how she was treated, is what we saw on display. And that was years ago. So I don't know. To say he's grown or changed, I don't think I can say that because what we saw on the stage yesterday was just a train wreck. It was a travesty. It was just it was horrible. And I'm not the only one I think it was a train wreck. Take a look at this Republican strategist.
If you were working for the Donald Trump campaign, when you were watching this, it was like watching a baby crawl across the interstate at night. You just couldn't look, and they couldn't get him off that stage fast enough. And, this is a long campaign. You can't hide Donald Trump. And what's happened is, I've seen this before in campaigns. When campaigns, a candidate thinks they're going to win, and then that gets pulled back from them. That can be a devastating moment for them.
Yeah, you see, I'm not the only one that thinks that what he did on stage yesterday was a train wreck. I have some notes here, some key points I wanted to bring out about what we saw yesterday. First and foremost, we saw a very cold reception for Trump at the NABJ conference. He's not used to walking on stage and not being, applauded and just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I could tell he was looking for the Hawk Tuah moment, and he didn't get that Hawk Tuah moment, and he just stood up there like, he didn't even give his little, he just stood there like, no applause, no this, no nothing. And then when he sat down, it was asked his first question. And I applaud all the journalists that got on that stage and verbally eviscerated him. it was amazing. It was amazing to watch, 3 women of color, 3 Black women, pointedly asking tough questions. Now, his responses to the questions, that's why I have a problem. He immediately started avoiding the answers to questions. Immediately. His first question out the gate asked him about basically his bigoted comments in his past. And he avoided it. Oh God, he avoided it. He avoided it. Not only did he avoid it, he proceeded to expound a bunch of lies. I don't even know any other way to say it. Half truths, false what. He just started lying. Shout out to PolitiFact. Those of you that want to actually know what he lied about, PolitiFact did a very good job of actively fact checking him during the Q&A or whatever you want to call the exchange. But first thing first, what money did you get at HBCUs, Trump? I went to FAM. Where's the money? Us in Florida, we're still looking at us at FAMU. We're still looking to get equitably funded like our other land grant institution, University of Florida. But Trump, where's our money? You talking about you did so much for Black people. What'd you do for us? His word was, I was the best president for the Black community since Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, my guy. We got voting rights acts, we had racist acts, we had all different types of acts that were designed by various presidents for the benefit of Black people, but you have no legislation whatsoever to point to. You can just make a bold statement and say, I was the best president for Black people since Abraham Lincoln, which leads me to my next point. Black America, we got to stop living in a time where we're valuing the marketing over the product. And what I mean by that is we let people come and tell us all types of different things. Trump has not said not one, he didn't say not one policy thing on that stage. He used that time up there to attack a black woman, which is a fucking shame, attack Joe Biden, who is no longer his opponent, and to spread lies. No policy whatsoever. Here you have the opportunity to get in front of a real black audience. Not only a black audience, an audience of black journalists that can take your message throughout the black community. And what did you do? You got up there, you attacked the black woman. You attacked Joe Biden, who's no longer your running mate. You said Kamala was no longer, she was Indian and black. Newsflash, Trump. Jamaican Indians, Island Indians, they're black. You know what I'm saying? You and your bigoted ways of thinking, think Indian as in, Indian, or, Dalai Lama Indians. But that's neither here nor there. She's still black. And you got up there in front of a bunch of black people and tried to pull Kamala's black card. Now, I was on record as saying that Trump should not have been invited to the NABJ conference. I got to go on record and say I was wrong. I was wrong. I thought he was going to get up there and get a bunch of softball questions. What I mean by softball questions, I mean questions that were favorable to him and his campaign and didn't really get him to talk about real issues. So, as you guys can see, I'm on my phone here. I got to give a shout out to Rachel Scott of ABC News, Harris Faulkner of Fox News, especially you, Miss Harris. I'm sorry, because in my head, you as a Fox News employee, and considering your favorable coverage of Donald Trump in the past, I just knew she was going to get up there and give some softball questions. But when the interview started to kind of get off rails, Harris Faulkner was the one that kind of reeled it back in. And she didn't reel it back in with any softballs. She very eloquently asked him pointed and directed questions, and she even pressed him a few times, which shocked me. So to you, Ms. Harris Faulkner, I have to apologize. I know my comments about you were not public, they were private. So those of you that know what I said in private, y'all are seeing this in the public setting and know that as a black man, I am proud of them 3 black women, especially Harris Faulkner. And I apologize, Keita Goba. I don't know you personally. I've never seen you in your work, but when you got up there on that stage, you were following it through, and I could tell Trump didn't really want to get into it with Rachel Scott. He even accused Rachel Scott of being a mean and nasty person, and that just shows you the bigoted ways. If he's not getting treated with kid gloves or in a soft, posh manner, oh, it's mean and nasty. Look at her, she's just treating nasty. Not only did he start out the interview attacking her, but he took the opportunity throughout the interview to just out of the blue attack her when he couldn't find a talking point. That was his go-to. Excuse me. Let's go back and say how Miss Rachel Scott was so mean and nasty to me. Whenever he couldn't find a talking point, I'm going to talk about Biden. Harris Faulkner directly asked him, Trump, what are you going to do about this inflation that's killing our community? She gave him a very, very easy question to be able to answer and gain votes in the black community. What did he do? He rambled about how bad inflation was, how bad Joe Biden was, how bad Kamala Harris was, took a shot at Rachel Scott. Harris Faulkner pressed him a little bit. But about the inflation policy, Mr. Trump, about the inflation policy, what are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do for us? He was circled back. Inflation is bad. Joe Biden's policies are bad. Kamala's crooked. He just went back on and rambling. And it was just horrible. It was a train wreck, to say the least. So Trump, you fumbled. That's my my pure and honest assessment. Trump fumbled an honest attempt that I believe his conservative supporters in the black media tried to offer him. They did their best to try and offer him an opportunity to gain black voters by offering policy and, just trying to motivate and galvanize the black community. But when he was asked about what is the black jobs question, any job that anybody has, he was pressed about the Sonia Massey situation and him saying about police immunity. And what do you say? He doubled down like, I'm going to give him immunity. And she doubled down. She's like, sir, we're talking about an innocent woman that was killed by a police. Well, innocent mistakes happen. Innocent mistakes do happen. So I want to, there was so many times that he had opportunities to give real policy or real substance, answers of substance, and he did not do that. So that's why I say he fumbled the opportunity that his conservative supporters in the black media tried to give him. Now, like I said before, I do apologize to those that put this on because there was a big, how I won't say argument, but disagreement. So much so that one of the, I don't want to get that into it, but one of the officials of the NABJ resigned behind Trump being allowed this position. So to say that it was universally agreed upon, no. So that's why I say his conservative supporters within the NABJ, because when you got somebody on the high up resigning, there was a lot of back and forth going on in there, and somebody's like, you know what, I want to be a part of this. Peace. But Trump, you fumble. Trump, you fumble. Trump, you fumble. Let's see what else I got noted here, because I want to make sure I cover some of everything that he said for those that didn't actually get to see it. JD Vance. Woo! 2 points before I finish. JD Vance and 1 more point. Now, I will give Trump credit for this. When pressed about JD Vance's comments of late, Trump did very eloquently and craftily try and walk his way out of it. And at some point, just say, I don't know, I didn't see it. That's him. Put it on JD Vance. So I would give you credit for trying to, distance himself from all of the the stuff that JD Vance has been saying that's been making that's been made newsworthy for the wrong reasons as of late. So his team did do him a good job of that, of preparing him for that. I also want to say that big up to the audience, especially Roland Martin and anybody else that was in that crowd, that whenever he said something false or fake or lied or just disingenuous, they pulled his card. If you watch the interview, there were certain points in it where he was actually talking to somebody in the crowd. And I think that was Roland Martin, because at one point he just couldn't get his statements out without being interrupted, because they was actually fact checking him and pulling his card on the false statements that he was making, which also led to, I believe, his handlers getting a little bit antsy. And as soon as that Project 2025 question got brought up, oh, he gotta go. So, what makes you think? Ask the question: why does Trump not want to talk about Project 2025? So yeah, Trump, you fumbled at NABJ. Harris Faulkner, Keita Goba, Rachel Scott, good job, great job. I'm proud of y'all. I do apologize for my private comments that said I honestly didn't think we were going to get that quality of interview yesterday. I thought it was going to be a bunch of softball questions, and Trump was going to be given the opportunity to use the black community in a disingenuous manner. And I want to fan you. I ain't for that. As always, guys, like, comment, share, hit that like comment, hit that like button, hit that comment button, hit that share button, hit all the buttons. Hit whatever button that's on there that you see, hit that button. All right? That's all I got. Peace. Love you guys.